The drawbacks was the water. There was a lot of wastage of water. What lot of wastage? The water was not properly utilized. Most of the water either used to destroy because there was excessive water filled up in the fields, or there was less water. Uh, then those areas which were having those areas which were low lying, and if you are there is a continuous supply of water, they used to become flooded with water, and excessively water was being flooded in the field, and then finally they used to get waste and sometimes destroy the crop also. Several other drawbacks were there. The most important thing, because we are in the age in which we cannot think of uh, losing a single drop of water. So it's important for us to save water, to conserve water. And the drawback of the traditional method was that there was a lot of water wastage. So we came out to use. Still, I'm not saying that everywhere it is being done, but most of the places now we can see that they are using the modern methods. So what are the modern methods of agriculture? The modern methods of agriculture, one, if please open your books on page number.
Ma'am?
Yes?
There is someone by name Hai in the group.
Excellent. Meeting. So it will be easy for me. So shall we continue?
Yes.
Modern methods of irrigation. As I told you that why are we moving on? Why are we using more and more modern methods? Because of the greatest drawback of the traditional method, which was of water. But as I told you that there are four. In fact, there are four modern methods that I asked you to open your books. One is furrow method. And furrow irrigation method, according to my book, it has been shown on page number 141. So I think it should be on page number 137 somewhere.
136, sir.
136. 136. You have a picture of furrow irrigation. You will see that there are ridges and furrows. Like if you remember the parallel sedimentary rocks, when we have a syncline and an anticline, okay, moving up and down. So the upper part is called as ridges, and the lower part is called as furrow. Okay, you will also see that they have made ridges in the field, and all the ridges have to be, and the furrows have to be of the same dimensions. Okay, and then the water is not given to the plants, it is filled up in the ridges. Sorry, it is filled up in the furrows. And this way, the water is provided to the plants. So that is, it is not directly given to the plants, it is given to the roots of the plants in this manner also. But still, in this also, water is being flooded into the fields, and there are chances of, there is no flow of water out from here. The only thing is either the water will be absorbed by the soil or it will evaporate. So this was one of the methods which was earlier taken up by the farmers to lessen the amount of evaporation or wastage of water. But then it was not very good. So secondly, what they started was sprinkler irrigation. or spray irrigation. In that, you have also picture of spray irrigation. If you can see it on the next page, I think 137 now. Can you see a picture? Can you see that picture? Someone please say yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Page number 137.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You will see there are small nozzles there, and they are connected to the main pipe through a conduit. And then when the water is released, the nozzle, it keeps on rotating. If you remember, children, in our school, in the lawn,
Yes, ma'am.
we have this type of equipment by which the water is provided to the lawn, the grass, and that is called as a spray irrigation. In this case also the water keeps on circulating in all the areas in the same manner equally, and so there is, according to them, there is less wastage of water. But everything, I'll tell you, everywhere we have an advantage and a disadvantage. Here also, if there is a continuous flow of water from the spray irrigation also, the water can be flooding onto the plants, onto the ground. So that is again, you have to be very careful in utilizing this because of. Please don't WhatsApp. Please tell me something here directly. Who is this? I don't know their phone number. Please listen now. Those who are waitlisted, listen. So this was about the spray irrigation method. You must have seen in our lawn also, when there was a continuous, and you can keep on changing the places. Here they are using many of such a thing because they are using extensive agriculture. It is extensive agriculture. That means the crops are grown in a large area. So in our lawn, in our school, they are using only one of that instrument or equipment. Here they are using many of them, and you can see how the water is given evenly in the entire area. But still, if you will not control it properly, there are chances of wastage of water. The water can be flooded, and it can spoil the crop. The best way, the best modern method of irrigating is the drip irrigation. In this drip irrigation, there are pipes which are hidden by the soil in the ground itself. There are pipes with those tubes in which the water flows. Those pipes are hidden by soil in the ground, and the crops are grown, and these pipes are perforated. They have small holes in them, but they are all covered with soil. So when the water is passed through these pipes, the water from those small perforations is released to the soil. Directly it goes to the roots of the plants without a drop of water getting wasted. So if I say which is the best method of modern irrigation, it is the drip irrigation. Okay. So these were the and one more is the sprinkler irrigation. It is like, you must have seen people having a bottle in which there is a nozzle on top of it, and they spray, like we have those Colin sort of bottles. Colin होता है ना जो disinfectant directly उसके roots के ऊपर. So that is also one of the methods of giving water to the plants. घरों के लिए especially fields में तो it will be very time taking to move from plant to plant and to give water through the sprinkler irrigation. But small household areas or small places, they can use this sprinkler irrigation for giving giving water to the plants with the help of sprinklers. And it is very useful because there is no wastage of water in that case again. So once again, there are 4 methods. One is a furrow irrigation, in which there are ridges and furrows of equal dimensions. Water is filled in the furrows, and the plants and the seeds are planted on the ridges. And the amount of water they require, they take it from the furrows, and no extra water is required. But in this case, again, I'm saying that it might be, there can be over flooding of furrows, and because of that, more of the water is evaporated. So when we are talking about modern methods and when we are talking about conservation of water and water scarcity, and even a single drop has to be utilized properly, the best way is drip irrigation, in which the pipe itself is buried under the soil. Any questions?
Ma'am,
Yes? Please raise your hand and come. Who said ma'am? Yes, Ritika? I was asking, do you have any questions? The topic then. The topic that we have to discuss today is the rainwater harvesting. How many of you know about it? Why should we conserve water?
For future use, so
For
that
future
there is not a
use.
scarcity of water.
Okay.
ma'am,
Yes.
to use in other activities.
Okay. You all know that when we were discussing it in the very first time, that most of the water that we get, most of the source of surface water is the rainfall. Yes? And the amount of rainfall that we get in India, the season of rainfall in India is southwest monsoon season, in which we get rainfall only for 3 to 4 months. There is some rainfall in some areas in the month of October, November, December and January also, but most of the rainfall occurs in the month of southwest monsoon season. In this case, we need to conserve water, that is, not only collect water, but also to store water underground. Not only collect water in some storage tanks or areas on the surface, but also to allow the water to seep underground. That is what is called as rainwater harvesting. Okay, so if you go through the definition of rainwater harvesting, it will tell you about storing water, stopping the overflow of water, storing it for future use in such a manner that not only you are storing water on the surface by different means, also to higher or to raise the underground water table. So this is what is called as rainwater harvesting. Okay, so in that there are is there anyone, you must have studied about rainwater harvesting previous years, anyone who can explain that to me so that I know how much you know and how much I have to explain it to you? Generally stored on the rooftops. Now you remember? They make small. Yes, Devesh, you have to say something? So they collect water on the rooftops. So now if you will see the buildings which are now bound to have rainwater harvesting, since we need to fight with scarcity of water, the rooftop of the buildings, they conserve, they collect water. They collect water. They collect the rainwater, and with the help of pipes, that water is drained to a particular storage tank, which may be on the surface or it could be even underground. After that, from that tank, the water is allowed to, there is a sieve system in which the impurities of water, if it is collected, if it collects impurities on its way, that water is now either used directly after a system of sewage, like after a system of sieving the water, that is filtering the water, then it is given to the different areas. I have been to certain cities, and you must have also experienced the same thing. Like I went to Pune, and there the water that they're using for not for bathing, but for other purposes, like for toilets especially, they are using the rainwater. They collect the water and they utilize the same water by in a cyclic manner, so that the water is not wasted. Okay. So one thing is this, that the rainwater is collected on the rooftops and it is given through a pipe, it is brought to a storage tank underground. There are various other methods also. One of the method is this, that water is collected on the surface. Yes, Devesh?
Rainwater harvesting is used for domestic purpose also and agriculture also.
It can be used anywhere.
Okay.
Can be used anywhere. See, what happens here is when we are harvesting rainwater, as I told you now, rainwater harvesting is a system of not only collecting water but also raising the groundwater table. So if the groundwater table is being raised, it can help the farmers also, because if the well, then the wells will not become dried up. Okay. So this way we can see that the water is the water. I mean, for that, so many other things are also there. They have a system of. If you look in the cities nowadays, there is no place in the cities where they have the green belts. The water can be absorbed only, not, it can never be absorbed by a concrete system of roads or buildings. Water can never get absorbed. It requires soil. Only soil can absorb water and take it to the underground water level. But you can see all the urban areas, we do not have such a feature here. So what happens here is that the water gets absorbed. Water has to be collected. And there are systems in which the water is given through pipes. It is also given to the ground water table directly. I will use see on, I do not know which page number now. I think page number 130, 31. Can you see this? They have given the entire system of rainwater, water harvesting mechanism. Water harvesting mechanism. Who is this? Ma'am, you please. I cannot see the entire message. Area. What is a catchment area? In this, they have written that the catchment of a water harvesting is the surface which receives water during rainfall directly and it can be paved like a terrace or a courtyard of a building, or an unpaved area like a lawn. Paved means you can make bunds or terraces in which the water can be directly collected, or it can be an unpaved area like a open land on which trees and plants are there, which can directly absorb the water. So that is called as catchment. The rainwater which falls on that is directly absorbed by the catchment area. The second is conduit. Now this is required in the case of uh, the area which is paved or from the terraces. What is a conduit? It is a pipeline that carries rainwater from the catchment or the rooftop to the harvesting system. Once again, from the rooftop, there is a conduit. What is a conduit? As I told you, it's a pipe which brings down the rainwater, and the conduit connects the rainwater, the rooftop, to the storage tanks. Now these storage tanks can be made up of, as is written, storage facility. These can be made up of polyvinyl chloride, asbestos, galvanized iron, that you can see that all the storage tanks which are made up of this. So now the water can be stored in the storage facilities either for direct use or what other can be possible is the recharge facility. Alternative to storing rainwater can be used to recharge groundwater aquifers. This can be done through any suitable structures like dug wells, bore wells, recharge wells, or recharge pits. Sometimes what they do is the place where they collect water, they make a storage tank underground which is perforated, which has holes in it, small holes. And when the water collects into it, then that water slowly and gradually seeps underground. So these are the four stages, I would say, of rainwater harvesting. First is catchment. In catchment, the water, that is the area where the rainwater directly falls. And then it either absorbs or it gets collected in that area. That is called the catchment area. पानी को पकड़ना, स्टोर करना अपने में. So it could be either a terrace on a rooftop, or it could be an open area where there are plants and trees which directly can absorb the water. Now in the other case, where we are using a system in which we are actually creating a system of rainwater harvesting, from the rooftop, the water is then brought to the storage tanks through a pipe, and that pipe is called as conduits. This pipe brings the water, the stored water on the rooftop, to the storage tanks. From these storage tanks, the water can be simply used, or it could be distributed in areas where it is required. Now, these storage tanks can be of PVC pipes, it could be even plastics. Those type of plastics which can collect rainwater for a long period of time, not the small, not that thin plastic bottle type of a thing. They are either galvanized iron, which does not become oxidized, or it could be material that is commonly available, any material, like those tanks that you see now, what do you call them? Syntax, pani ki tankiyan. There also the rainwater can be collected. And after that, what happens, sometimes this water, when the capacity of the storage is over, then, and still it is raining and we can utilize that water. So what is done then? This water is then gradually and slowly released into the groundwater table through the systems of, they have given you the names of bore wells, recharge pits, percolation pits, and permeable or dug wells, permeable surfaces. These names you will see again one table on the next page, maybe with a green color. It is written recharging groundwater aquifer.
Yes, ma'am.
In that, if you locate it, what are bore wells? Everything is given here. We would just have to understand and underline, and then of course notes will be there for everything. So here we have, first is bore or dug wells. They are used to raise the underground water table by collecting rainwater on the rooftop of the building, which is then diverted by drain pipes to a filtration tank. As I was earlier mentioning that they are taken to some area, some tank in which filter is being done, and then it flows into the bore well. Bore well is a normal well in which the water the well can have the supply from the storage tank. If they become dry or if they require water, this water is gradually given to those bore wells. Then this is the recharge pits. Recharge pits are excavated into the ground, lined with bricks or stone wall with openings at regular intervals. I think a few things requires a lot of a picture sort of thing. Let me see whether we have it now. I will send you the picture. Simply expansion hole will soak the water and allow that water to get inside to the groundwater table. Recharge trenches. Those areas where we have slopes. There is a slope. So we can make at regular interval if we can make these recharge pits, or we can say percolation pits. This case, what happens is that at many places, if you see these recharge pits and they are covered with some trees or grass, so that the water is absorbed, and it can be done in our colony or society also. We can make certain area, like even the entire area is constructed. There is no place for any water to get absorbed. And what we do is, at certain places we make a barricading for keeping the plants safe. You must have seen it. We can make an iron barricading, a circular barricading for the plants to be saved. Have you seen that? जब शुरू में हम लोग पौधे लगाते हैं तो उनको एक आयरन बैरिकेडिंग कर देते हैं, जिसकी वजह से जब प्लांट ग्रो करे उसके पहले उसे कोई जानवर खा ना सके, डिस्ट्रॉय ना कर सके. ठीक है, जब वो छोटे होते तो उसके अगल बगल आयरन बैरिकेडिंग कर दी जाती. आयरन मतलब वायर बैरिकेडिंग. उसी तरह से हम परकुलेशन पिट बनाते हैं, जिसमें जगह जगह पे हम होल्स कर देंगे ग्राउंड में, और उसको हम चारों तरफ से ईंटों की एक लेयर से बैरिकेडिंग करते हैं. अब जब पानी गिरता है, यानी पूरे जगह पे सड़क है, कंक्रीट है, लेकिन ये कुछ पिट्स बना देते, कुछ एरिया जैसे सर्कुलर होलोज क्रिएट कर देते ग्राउंड में, नॉट मोर देन 30 सेंटीमीटर. कितना होता है 30 सेंटीमीटर? एक स्केल is of 30 centimeter, right? One big scale, 1 foot. सिर्फ उतना रेडियस लेके, बल्कि उतना डायमीटर लेके एक सर्कुलर होल बनाते हैं ग्राउंड में, और उसको हम चारों तरफ से ईंटों से ढक देते हैं ताकि पानी वहां पर नीचे जा सके, उस कंक्रीट में से भी पानी नीचे एब्सॉर्ब हो सके ग्राउंड के द्वारा. तो इस तरह से वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग की जा सकती है, रेन वाटर. फिर ऐसा एरिया, दूसरा जो कह रही है रिचार्ज ट्रेंचेस. ट्रेंचेस मतलब होती है ऐसे मतलब खाई जैसी, या जहां पे स्लोप है, वहां पे तो हम ऐसी पिट नहीं बना सकते, तो क्या करते हैं, जैसे स्लोप से पानी आ रहा है नीचे की तरफ, तो सामने एक ऐसी ट्रेंच जैसी बना देंगे और उसको हम कवर कर देते हैं सैंड से या किसी भी चीज से, तो पानी ऊपर से फ्लो करके जब नीचे आएगा तो इस जो हमने हॉलो क्रिएट किया है, एक ट्रेंच फॉर्म में एक एलोंगेटेड हॉलो क्रिएट किया गया है, वो पानी को एब्जॉर्ब कर लेगा, यानी पानी ओवरफ्लो करके आगे नहीं जाएगा। उस समय याद करो पानी की स्पीड थोड़ी ज्यादा हो सकती है अगर वो एक स्लोपी एरिया पे है तो जहां पे स्लोप खत्म हो रहा हो वहां पे हम इस तरह का एक रिचार्ज ट्रेंच बना सकते हैं। इस ट्रेंच में का ये होता है कि एक एलोंगेटेड, एक लंबी सी नाली जैसी बना दी गई और उसको हम कवर कर देते हैं सैंड से, तो जब पानी नीचे आता है तो वो उस पूरी नाली में गिरने के बाद सीधे अंडरग्राउंड वाटर को लेवल को रेज करता है। इसको हम लोग कहते हैं रिचार्ज ट्रेंचेस। They are excavated on the ground and refilled with porous media. It could be sand, it could be गिट्टी वगैरह से भी, like pebbles, boulders, brick bats, or to harvest surface runoff. जैसा हमने बताया कि अगर पानी किसी स्लोपी एरिया में नीचे आ रहा होगा, तेजी से आएगा, तो वो पूरा पानी बह जाएगा। उसको रोकने के लिए क्या किया, जहां पे जैसे स्लोप थोड़ा सा कम हो रहा है वहीं पे हमने एक लंबी सी नाली बना दी और इस नाली को हमने ढक दिया पेबल से या सैंड से, ग्रेवल से, जिसकी वजह से जब पानी नीचे आएगा तो वो उस लेवल, उस ट्रेंच में गिरेगा आके, वहां पे एब्जॉर्ब हो जाएगा और उसके अलावा तो उस तरह से वो पानी नीचे के ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल तक पहुंच जाएगा। फाइनली परमिएबल सरफेसेस, जैसा कि अभी हम तुम लोग से बोल भी रहे थे कि बिकॉज वी हैव बिकम मोर एंड मोर अर्बनाइज्ड, सो वी आर नॉट लिविंग, हम अपने ही आसपास देखते हैं अपनी कॉलोनी में भी, तो जिसके पास पहले मिट्टी थी जहाँ पे वो प्लांट्स लगाते थे, ट्रीज लगाते थे, अब उन्होंने उस एरिया को भी पूरा सीमेंट कर दिया है ताकि गंदगी ना आए। गमले लगा लिए हैं लेकिन एरिया सीमेंटेड है। उसके बाहर निकले तो रोड्स है, रोड्स के बाहर जो पेवमेंट्स होते थे पहले वो कच्चे होते थे, अब वो पेवमेंट्स भी पक्के हो गए, वो भी सीमेंटेड हो गए। तो पानी नीचे जाएगा कैसे? सारा का सारा पानी वो नालियों के थ्रू नदियों में पहुंच रहा है और सीधे वो सागर में पहुंच जाएगा। यहाँ उसको इवापोरेट होने के लिए भी उसको समय नहीं मिल रहा है। इट्स ऑल सरफेस रन ऑफ। ओके, तो हमें ऐसी जगह बनानी पड़ती है जैसे पार्क्स हो, ग्रीन लैंड हो, कुछ ऐसे एरियाज हो जहाँ पे पेड़ लगाए गए हो जिसके द्वारा वाटर एब्जॉर्ब होके डायरेक्टली ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल तक पहुंच जाए। So these are the ways in which the water can be utilized. The rainwater can be used for recharging groundwater. Any question? Yes, Anshika?
Ma'am, how can we say the water is wasted when we throw it in holes or manholes, such places? Means they are ultimately increasing the ground level only.
No, beta. The main holes, when the water goes, the main holes, you must not be knowing. The main holes are created on a concrete drain system which takes all the water from our houses to the rivers nearby. It is not getting absorbed anywhere on the ground.
So at least they are going in the river, so they are increasing the water of rivers.
बच्चा एक बात बताओ, rivers, no, rivers are, even if the rivers are this fresh water, you can understand one thing, that if all the water which is flowing away, continuously it is going to the rivers and then it will go to the oceans and seas, and then from there it will evaporate and then we will have condensation and then precipitation. And here the rainwater which we are getting directly, and we are not able to collect it properly. If we can only collect that water, we can in fact, we can direct that water, rainwater, to the proper areas. That is important. अभी जैसा हम बोल रहे थे कि whenever there are cities being developed, and now the villages also. Remember, villages also used to have a lot of open land, and the houses were also like there were cottages and there were huts and all. Now there are all concrete buildings in the villages also. Okay, so but they require water. So now what they have system, now this system is going to long forever because it is a very good system of rainwater harvesting. People have already started doing it. That they collect the rainwater on the rooftops, and with the help of these recharge pits, they can allow the water to get inside the ground and recharge the groundwater. So there are three ways in which the rainwater water is used. Either direct usage of rainwater when once it is collected. Secondly, it is purified and used in other ways also. Like it can be even used for drinking. And third way, it is also used for recharging the groundwater table. So these are the three purposes of rainwater harvesting. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Got it. Thank you, ma'am.
There is a system which says that, which is called as watershed management. Watershed management. It is the system of managing. It's again now on page number 1. See, I am telling you these pages today more often because I want you to go through the book. By the way, today may be the last day and we can resume our classes in July somewhere. I will be definitely sending you all the notes. Meanwhile, you all have to, all means what? Out of 320 students, hardly 103 participants are still there. Rest all of them are already enjoying their summer vacations. I do not know what they are going to learn and do, but whatever. So you are required to complete all the work given to you, the project work as well as the notes that I am sending you. Wherever you have a difficulty, we are connected through WhatsApp. If you have a question, I do not ask, matlab it is only admins can only admins are participating there because you people, when you get to talk, you start talking too much. Sure, please. Management. On that page they have written, watershed management refers to the efficient management and conservation of both the surface as well as the groundwater resources. It includes the prevention of runoff. I hope now you know what is the meaning of runoff. That is the water, the rainwater which keeps on silting of the rivers, or it could be also the deterioration or the lowering of the groundwater table. So runoff has, if we can stop the runoff of water, it can help us in so many ways. There will be no soil erosion because if there will be no runoff, the soil can retain it at its own place and the water can also be absorbed in the surface. So runoff as well as the storage and recharge of groundwater, like percolation pits, recharge, as we have just now discussed, percolation pits, recharge wells, bore wells and duct wells, etc. So there is a system which is called as Haryali, Haryally. It is written there. The central government has started a watershed development project which is called Haryali. It aims at enabling the rural people to conserve water for irrigation, drinking, fishing, fisheries or afforestation. That means the system of Haryali, it not only educates the farmer how to conserve water, because farmers are like, if I will not say that the farmers are illiterate now, but at least most of the farmers do not know, even if the water, there is so much of rainfall, how to conserve that. So then they are being properly educated, first of all, how to conserve the water, how to stop the rainwater from going into the rivers, and how to utilize that water, collect that water first of all as a storage to use at the time when there is no water available, and then also afterwards how to utilize that water efficiently in your fields or farms by modern methods of irrigation. So this is what is the aim of Haryali. Okay, this is a central government scheme. So
Okay,
in this chapter, we have discussed one, what is water resources? Why India requires rainwater harvesting? What is irrigation? What are the different means of irrigation? What are the traditional methods of irrigation? What are the modern methods of irrigation? And why should we conserve water? So, this was, I think, the end of this chapter. Yes?
ma'am.
I'm listening. Please, who is there? Please come out. One who's asking question. Yes? Who was asking question? Okay, anyone else? You are free. Once again, I'm telling you, you are free to ask any question anytime on WhatsApp. Whenever I will see the WhatsApp, I'll give you the answer. Wait a minute. Okay. So if you have any questions, Bachu. Otherwise, I end here only.